The love of cycling spans the generations. No matter who you are or what you do, we all have our own ways of enjoying the sport. So today I've decided to catch up with three incredibly inspiring characters, Brian, Andy and Sylvia, to find out how they get the most out of their cycling and what's the secret? How do you keep on riding through the ages?
Hello, I'm Andy Hicks. I'm 76 years old. First got into cycling, going to school, and then joined a bike club. And in those days it was all fixed wheels and no special cycling kit. You got cold in the winter and wet if you had a jumper and jeans on, and that was it. Then joined a club and did a bit of time trialing and even a little bit of road racing before my education, degree, getting married, all that, and had to stop for quite a while.
Hello, I'm Sylvia, and I'm 74, and I've been riding since I got my first bike when I was 8. And I don't remember what make it was, but I vividly remember that it was Kingfisher Blue, my favourite colour. And I've had a bike of some sort ever since then, but it wasn't until maybe 25 years ago that I got a proper bike, as I call it, a road bike. And then I joined the cycle club and I haven't looked back since. Yeah, love cycling.
Okay, my name's Brian Turner, I'm 71. I got into cycling in the early 1960s. I lived in rural Gloucestershire. There wasn't much to do on a Sunday. Just along the road from me was quite a famous time trialist called Les Miles. And Les Miles introduced myself and a friend to cycling. And my first cycle ride was down to Bath, about 1962. And from there it just grew and grew. And I've always cycled. I've cycled for work, to get into work. I cycle socially, and I used to do time trialling.
Sylvia, thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I'm really interested to know what the importance of cycling has been in your life over the years.
Well, it's a wonderful way of getting out into the countryside. It keeps you fit, but I mean, you see more.
It doesn't really matter if you play tiddlywinks or bridge. It's about particularly older people. When you finish work, you haven't got the friendship with the people that you worked with, and you make new friends, you socialise, not just on the bike, but also often we go to each other's houses for dinner, we go on cycling holidays together. It's the whole package, really.
And is that different from when you first started?
I think you didn't appreciate it at such a younger age, how important it was. In retrospect, I should have appreciated it was as important. But I think in those days, you just went out, you cycled, you raced, and you enjoyed yourself.
Okay, Brian, how's your experience of cycling changed over the years?
I think the major change has been, first of all, the volume of traffic that's on the roads. When I started in the early 60s, you could go out on a Sunday morning and you probably wouldn't see a car until about 11:30, until the pubs opened.
What advice would you have for people who are just kind of getting into cycling now and maybe a bit put off by the cars and the vehicles?
Well, don't start on the London Road.
That's a very main road near us.
A very big, major, well, from the name, main road. Start on the local roads near you. Try best to go out with someone you know and trust and they can lead, and just keep doing it, really. I mean, you know, there is no other way around it, really. And then gradually build up to a bit more bigger roads, because even if you're planning on always doing country rides, you've got to do main roads to join it all up a bit.
That's good advice. Andy, a little bit of a cheeky question, but was there a moment when you thought, oh gosh, I'm getting old here, I'm not able to kind of push on the pedals as I used to?
Absolutely. It happened to me about 2 weeks ago. My fellow club riders will remember we'd gone off on a ride and I kept dropping behind and had no power. And I actually said to them, look, old age has caught up with me. Please go on. I shall be much happier riding on my own. And then I caught up with them with a T-stop. But since then, I don't know why, but I've done 2 rides and felt really good again. So it seems to be a bit coming and going. I don't know why.
I think it creeps up on you, particularly from the age of about 60 onwards. You realise you're slowing down. You're not going to be the first up the top of the hill any longer. And it can be a little bit frustrating to begin with, but you have to come to terms with it and still enjoy cycling.
Yeah, that's a good way to be. I think I found it hard myself actually when I stopped racing because I realised I was never going to be quite as fit as I once was. But that's the thing, isn't it? You just kind of have to enjoy being out on your bikes in the fresh air.
That's life.
Yeah. And do you find that your recovery is a bit longer from when you're younger?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely need a day or 2 after each ride to fully recover. I mean, I remember doing a week in Mallorca and ride every day, but now if I go to Mallorca, I have 2 rest days during the week to give myself a bit of recovery time.
I'm not able to ride as much as I did in my younger days. In my younger days, I could go out day after day and do incredibly high mileage. Now I find that going out 3 or 4 times a week, 50, 60 miles each time, with a little bit of recovery time in between, is more than enough.
What advice would you give to the audience out there? As you know, as we get through the decades, what's the best way?
Oh, you mean the older audience?
How do we keep riding our bikes to get the same enjoyment out of it?
Never stop. Always keep riding your bike. There's never a reason to stop, really, unless, you know, obviously injury and illness. But that's the clue to it. I mean, it's much harder to start when you're older. If you've always been riding, no problem.
Just pace yourself, be honest with yourself and do what you can. It's no good trying to push yourself beyond your limits. And after all, at the end of the day, you're trying to do it to enjoy it. And I do enjoy it. I enjoy companionship, the coffee and cakes, and the well-being you get from cycling.
I think you need to measure your expectations. You're not 20, you're not 30 any longer, and try not to be too competitive. Enjoy your cycling. Don't let yourself get too competitive. That's not good for you at our age.
Do lots of things, not just cycling. I still like to jog a couple of times a week. I do DIY. I help my wife in the garden. And I think you have to try and keep all the bits going. Use it or lose it.
The countryside is brilliant. It doesn't matter when you go out, you'll see something different. The lanes change throughout the year. What you see changes. It's lovely.
Right, well, thank you very much for watching, everyone. We hope that all the information and the tips we're giving you is going to keep you riding, because you must. It's just terrific to be still on your bike. And if you have any comments or questions, please write them below.
Thanks, everyone. And I think we're going to head off now.
Yes, I think we're going to, yes. Well, everyone says I should say we're going to drop Connor on the hill, but, you know, no chance.
I think you will, Sylvia. I think I've got a tough time up this hill against you. But thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
It really was.
It's been great.
Brilliant.
It's been great. Pleasure, hasn't it?
Enjoy riding. Keep riding.
Yes, yes. Yeah, important.